Alright. Let's try it. I'm gonna go live and give it a minute. We bumped the button a few minutes ago. Started the stream up early. That's fine. That's cool. On the plate today, we have an HP Probook 440 G1. Probook 440 G1 that had a cracked screen. The screen replacement finally made it. It was the Instagram photo if anybody had seen it. You can probably see what's wrong with that laptop. The screen's a little bigger than it the whole way around. Let's flip down here. So we're going to do a tutorial on how to tear this down, even though we got this screen right here. Let's do the tear down and get it going. HP Probook 440 G1. You ready? Alright, let's begin. Flip it over. Get a trusty black mat or whatever color mat you use. You need to extract your battery. Then you can take a look. There may be a screw down in here. I've already taken this one out, but you may have to look there to see if there's a screw there. Hit your latches. Your bottom cover will come off. The hard drive is missing in this for the time being. We have a few screws to tear out. Oh boy. Alright, so you have a few Phillips. You've got one here beside the RAM, and some of these are going to be Torx. You have a Phillips on the ROM, and this had been opened up by another individual at some point in the past, so I can't guarantee all these screws are where they were supposed to be. After you pull the one out on this side of your RAM, on the right if you're looking at it the way that I am, that will release your optical drive. You can then get that out of the way. You have some more Phillips, which I'm going to mark these, that way they can go back in the same spots with the dots. And then we have two under the optical drive on the right hand side here. This is one of the laptops that you can kind of cheat. You can pull the bezel off, but I will tell you, if you attempt to do it without disassembling, you're going to really risk one, putting a crack like that in your corner, which somebody had already done, and two, breaking off, or zoom it out so it'll focus, breaking off the little tabs right here, the kind of like the hinge cover aspect of it. Yeah, it's too close, it won't focus. So you risk breaking those off. Alright, those Phillips are out. The rest should be Torx. Let me see. Do we have another Phillips? We do. The other keyboard one, which is to the right of the RAM and just up from the optical drive, if you're looking at this the same way that I am. Many different screws, different lengths of screws, so fun. You also need to pull the wires from your Wi-Fi card. So let's work on those. And you're going to unroute them now. That way you don't have to keep flipping and flopping this thing back and forth. We'll pull our ram out. Time for the Torx. I don't remember what size it is, so we'll take a guess for right now. Is it that one or that one? Okay, I like that much better. We're gonna say is it a T8? I can't tell. Yep, T8. So Torx 8, T8. But it's the security one, I believe. So most of the screws have the little bit in the middle. You have a few different lengths of these. Or no. Sorry, the Phillips are the different lengths. Is that an oddball? Okay. Like I said, somebody had been into this. There are Phillips across the front of the machine, little tiny ones. So you have 1, 2, 3. They're the same size as the screws that hold down the Wi-Fi card. So no, they're not. I lied. Don't listen to that. Same height, smaller shank, so on the screw. What else do we have to pull out of this? We have these little rubber things to remove from the corners. We can leave the feet on. There are no screws under the 4 feet on the corners. You just have these rubber hole plugs to pull out, whatever you want to call them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 right here. And these are the screws for the screen. We'll try and keep them together. And go to work with the Torx. Honestly, this might be a two-parter. Doing the day job at night tonight, so hopefully, who do we got there? Hey Brandon, what's up, bud? Doing a teardown on a Probook. Kind of like what you got, kind of. Alright, let's take a look. I think we got most of our screws out that need out. To detach the bottom, we do need to take a look. At the top side here, we're going to go ahead and pop up our keyboard. It should be loose. And the keyboard, how it releases is it slides down and then it will pop out. Very easy. And then there's no real way to get it out easily, so you have to lift it up, lift the latch, pull the keyboard. We have a few more screws underneath this thing. They're all Torx. I'm going to set them aside as to not mix them up, even though they are the same size. As the ones on the bottom. These are pretty rugged little computers. The HP Probook 4430S, 440G1. All those series for those few years were nice. They're thick. They're thicker laptops. Let's count these. You will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 M2 2.5 by 6 screws to pull out internally, and then a few things to disconnect, and we're finally ready to crack this thing in half. We have 2 ribbon cables, 3, and possibly 1 other connection. I don't think we're going to get through this today, so we'll come back and finish it tonight, but hopefully we can get to the screen. Alright, with those disconnected, and then we have this speaker wire. I believe this is a speaker. We want to disconnect that. This other black one you don't have to worry about. That comes under the top case, so it's not going to crack loose. And finally, let's go for popping this apart. I believe, yes, the bottom comes off on this. Did I forget a screw before I pull? It feels like it. Let's lift this up and go for it. Nope, it's just being stubborn on the floor. Oh, we did have one. Okay, so you have 1 ribbon cable connected. Careful you don't rip your ports loose. And when you lift it up, you can kind of flip it out, and you'll see. Lift up, and you will see that it's plugged in right here. You can unplug that one or the one on the motherboard. At this point, we're about ready. We need to disconnect our display cable, which is here. You gotta be careful with these little latches. They do break easy enough. Alright, and there we got it. The bigger they are like that, generally I flip them down. We have to take the internal screws out. At this point you could just split it in half, and I think to save time I may do that. We're going to split this thing in half without completely disassembling, so this will be another way to do it. So at this point you're going to take out all 3 screws from one side, and 3 from another, and then there is a little screw or a little metal plate that sits under the right side in the corner here that is your Kensington lock. You want to check the orientation of that when it comes out so you know. The way it goes back in. So there's 2 screws on this side, 3 on the other. We have our hinge covers. And why I say it's probably honestly just easier to split it apart, but we're going for time today. We need to actually pull our test screen off of here. So we're going to try and release our toffee tape. What it is this is what's good about this tape. You actually start pulling it and it starts releasing, if you can see it. So you start pulling the tape, don't pull too hard too fast, and it will start releasing its bond. And you're probably going to stretch it and rip it at some point. And we need to dig it back out. So this screen wasn't the right size for this, as you can tell. But we put it in and we're able to get use of the computer until we got the right size screen in, which took a while. I think we're gonna get held up here and have to continue later, but I'm trying to cut this loose, and we'll continue the tear down of how to do it after I get this screen out, because this normally would not be in your way when doing a tear down to replace your screen. Don't pull that out. I don't want to wreck the screen, but if I have a screen to reassemble, I suppose I do. Alright, so we got one loose. And when this tape sticks, it sticks. Go ahead and attempt to cut loose this side. And we got it. Okay. This is a broken screen, so no harm, no foul. We have our tape here. This is the important part. When you do get into your screen, here's where you'll pay attention. There is a little latch on your display. Okay, but we're not there yet. We are still back. So we just separated. We'll say our screen's in and our bezel was on. Once you can separate your screen and lay it down, you'll have two little stickers to take out of each corner. Take them out, pull your two Phillips screws out, work your way around the edge, pop the bezel loose. There should be tape across the bottom of the screen, holding the bezel to the screen to keep dust out. And then you have four little Phillips screws to undo for the screen, your webcam cable, and this will be stuck to the back, so flip it forward gently, lay it on something, and you're good to go. And that's the point we find ourselves at. Here is that Kensington lock I was speaking of. It does go in the corner right here and sits underneath everything. Where's the peg at? So, kind of right there like that. It sits under the corner with the flat part down, the other one sticking up, and then the wall of it's here. Let's check the actual time. Okay, 42. We have our new screen. We're going to go ahead and start getting it installed. I'm just throwing a mat down on the laptop to protect the front of the screen a little. We're going to get this cable connected. Remember, you have the little latch there. And then plug in your LCD cable. When it's plugged in, flip the latch down, and then we're going to put a piece of LCD tape there to help hold that old tape in place. And with this laptop, there's lots of room inside. No issues with putting one skinny layer of tape on the computer. So, okay, let's go ahead and stick that right there. And then we need something to pick our top layer loose. We got it. Make sure everything's plugged in. Latch down, stick that in. And then we're going to start reassembling. So we've got that part. We can screw this in. We want to make sure our cable is routed in the right spots here. It kind of comes over. Alright, but let's go for it. We need 4 screws that are the same. Oh, guess what I did? I think I put them in to not confuse them or lose them. Did I? I did. They are 4 Phillips screws. The ones that I said you would take out when removing your old broken screen. Let's get you out of the way, and you. And we have 2 more at the top. Also, make sure your hinges don't pop up, or the side rails for the hinges, you don't want them coming out of place and then laptop doesn't want to go back together. It's not a fun thing. Alright, going for the 4 screw for the LCD. Once installed, we're going to move our hinge covers out of the way any way we can. The one still needs unclipped, I believe. And we got it. Alright, we're going to flip our hinge back up to roughly the same spot. This is where our bezel will go on. I'm not going to worry about sticking anything down. And protective film, we have to take it off and it alone. Okay, there it goes. We're going to trust this screen is good. It's a bad move to do because if it's dead, DOA, dead on arrival. Right, with that, you can start clipping your bezel back into place around the edge. Don't squeeze too hard. You don't want to crack your brand new screen. Make sure your wires have the clearance that they need going in. I'm going to lay this back down to take and what are you and why are you out in the way? And this is where the bezel is going to break. What is in the way? Just a clip? Just a clip. Okay. Some of these clips are pretty tough. The plastic, they like to really snap into place. Feels like you're about to break something. But once you get them, it sits tight. We can install our hinge covers. The silver part goes down with the gray part going up. If we get our display cable out of the way, that should go on and give us little to no issue. Alright, it's back on. Let's go for the other hinge cover. Flip that up. One thing we do need to make sure of is get our Wi-Fi wires up where they need to be. Work your hinge cover into place, and then it should surround the wires nicely and keep them where you need them. You may have to hold them there. Alright, so there's that. We are going to check. I'm not sure. Oh, they're in here. Okay. So these are our hard drive screws and our original screws for the bezel. They are a Phillips screw that goes in the corner of the bezel. We'll put the stickers on at a later time and place. We're just going for the corners now. Time check 4:50. So this is going to be it for today. Gotta get going to the day job at night. Real quick, I think one thing I will do, flip these back up. Our hinge covers are in place. Our cables are coming out where they need to be. This is going to hold our Wi-Fi cable down. And we have our DC jack on this side, followed by our display cable. Let's go ahead and stick our 5 Torx screws back in. And this is a good jump off point where I could say do everything that we just did in reverse. And you will have your laptop reassembled. But we're gonna do better than that. We'll actually finish putting it back together later. Alright, so let's not forget our Kensington lock for this side. Right there. Oh, setting. So I hope we can. Alright, we can. One, two, three. One goes into the Kensington lock, not the hinge. So 2 on each side for left and right hinges. 1 into the Kensington lock, which by rights you could leave there. And cable routing is also very important. When you do this, you will see that if you don't have stuff where it needs to be, it's going to be a headache to get the computer to go back together. So do take note of some of that stuff. Plugged in. I'm going to flip this over and attempt to clip it. So we didn't get it together, but I think we got it to a workable state, and we'll have to edit together the two different parts for the tutorial video we're doing for laptop screens where we got the actual computer. But anyhow, let's wrap this up. Have a good rest of your evening. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you for watching, tuning in, clicking that link, coming over. If you dig fixing this stuff, give somebody a hand doing it if you're the one that knows how. Spread it, share it, show how to do it. And I think that should count, right? It counts as a sign off. Alright. Do it. Thank you. as always, thank you so much. See you. Let's get out of here. Bye-bye.